Hey, and welcome to In the Basket, a show that's all about pressure cooking that's going to save you time, money, and you don't have to be a professional cook to do this. Alright, so my show is pretty much for anybody, and it doesn't matter who you are, that is wanting to be able to cook home-cooked meals in a very quick time, right? You don't want to be spending all your time in front of the stove. Let's be honest, sometimes you just, after a long day at work, or you've had this tremendous day with the kids, or maybe, you've just done laundry, right? Or you're maybe a college student, you have a lot of work you've got to do. You've got studying and tests and everything's coming, and all you want to do is try to get something that's somewhere close to what mom has made, right? Those great meals that you remember as a kid, or maybe those meals that you remember you just had like a couple of weeks ago, and now you're stuck eating that packaged stuff that you put hot water with and it turns into something totally different, right? Well, I've got a solution for you that I think is going to be really, really helpful, and it's a pressure cooker. There are so many out there. There are different brands, different kinds of sizes. They go from 2 quarts all the way up to 8 quarts. If not, there are some that are even bigger. And the price range varies anywhere from like 40 to 50 bucks all the way up to $500 and beyond. Mine is one that I actually got on sale, and it is not the small one. This one's an 8 quart size, so it is a good size one for what I need, because honestly, I'm trying to feed a family of 4. And, with that, I need something that's going to save me time in the kitchen to be able to get that all done. And my wife and I had been looking around and finally figured out and found a pressure cooker. Now, my wife was like, I'd love to start doing meals in this and trying to get some stuff made. And I was like, okay, I do a little cooking myself. I love to experiment in the kitchen as well. We got one, and I'll tell you what, it saved us so much time, and it really has saved us so much energy. I mean, because with the pressure cooker, in certain things that you cook, you literally set it, walk away. It's like a slow cooker, but if not half or a third of the time that it takes to cook certain things. Now, don't get me wrong, this does not replace an oven. There are certain textures for those that are more experienced in the cooking industry, or when it comes to cooking in an oven. This isn't going to be like an oven. It's a pressure cooker. But you're still going to be able to get amazing foods, and you can get everything. Breakfast, lunch, dinners, desserts, snacks, all sorts of stuff. And we're going to go through that here. You just got your pressure cooker. Now you're going to take a look and see some of the extra little things that you have with it. I always suggest that you read the instruction manual that comes along with your pressure cooker, just for if you can dishwasher the internal parts and pieces, if it's dishwasher safe, which I believe most of them are, but I'm not for certain on that. And then also just overall usage and cleaning on yours. When I got mine, it came with a rice spoon, I believe that's what this is called, and the power cable. Mine is an 8 quart, so it's a pretty good size. And it came with this little mesh grate. Yours will probably come with like a little grate that goes all the way almost to the bottom that you can cook certain foods on. I've noticed though that with those, you run into a bit of a situation where the water splashes up onto the food as it's boiling to get to that point, and it cooks it in a weird way. And I like consistency. Mine though, 8 quart, and it has a ring around the side that actually prevents this plate from falling into the bottom. So now I have roughly about 4 to 5 inches of gap space to where I'm able to plug extra foods on the bottom. So like if I'm going to do a baked potato and chili, I can cook the chili portion on the bottom and bake my baked potatoes on the top. And that's one of the great things, is you can double cook at the same time in this thing and not even worry about it. Now, with this, mine actually has some interesting features. It has a plate right here. This is a sealing plate, and and I call it a sealing plate. I don't know the technical term, forgive me on that. And this right here, this little rubber ring, is what basically creates the pressure and forces this shut. Now, when this is in here, it sits all the way in there, but as the pressure begins to build and build, it actually is going to do like force expansion, right? So it's going to want to start to pull it apart. Well, as that happens, this plate right here creates that seal and locks everything in. Now, I know on older pressure cookers, the ones you use on the stove can be intimidating. Those are, you have to regulate the heat, and then you've got different types of weights, I believe, that came with them. You put them on the top. These, you don't have to worry about that. With these, they have self-locking mechanisms that you cannot unlock it until the pressure decreases. And the cool thing is on mine here has a little red button that when the pressure is fully hit, it pops up, telling me, okay, I'm at full pressure, we're gonna hang out. It also, on every one of these, has a little release valve that has like a little bump on it. That bump is so that way it'll sit open to release the steam that's inside. And that's basically just a specially made weight that just kind of regulates how much pressure is in it. Because let's be honest, if there's too much pressure inside, it would, blow up. But that regulates the pressure, and that way there's no issue. And by the way these pressure cookers are made, they're made to handle a lot of pressure. So you don't have to worry about that happening, because this mechanism they've made is meant to not stick, and it should always be free flowing and able to have, you should always hear like a little bit of steam at times leaking out, because after usage it's going to get that way. So why not, let's get into it. And when you get your first pressure cooker, you might be a little scared. I'm not going to lie, the first time I used this thing, I was a little intimidated. I was thinking, well, what could happen? Could I get hurt? And the truth is, you can. There is this valve on the back that releases high pressure steam. If you open that valve with your hand covering the top of it, you're going to get hurt, because that is high pressure steam. That's going to give you some major burns. So just be careful, use caution when you do this. If you have little children, make sure that they're not walking over touching it. The tops will get hot. And then it's just like the stove. You teach them not to touch the open flame, and you're good to go. And trust me, one quick spritz of this on them, or if they reach their hand over the steam, they'll learn real fast not to do it. And I would just not want any children to get hurt in the middle of this. But nonetheless, it's just like anything else. Just use precaution. I mean, come on. All right. On the front of yours, and I'll get into the actual use, and we'll use just water on this. On the front of yours should have different settings. One, there's like a saute method where you're able to cook things in the pot. That's the cool thing, is you can thaw out your food frozen and do a lot of this in under an hour. Thaw out your food frozen, then go back, do it in the bottom where you cook it up a little bit, because sometimes you have to do that. Add your other ingredients, your vegetables, things like that, seal it up, reset one of the settings, reboil, and boom, it cooks everything else. Now I'm going to plug mine in, so that way you can see what it's supposed to look like here up close. Just going to take the lid off. Mine does make a lot of beeping sounds and everything. I'm just going to, so that I can maintain and know where that is, I'm going to put the grate back in there. Not going to need the rice spoon. Now, no matter what you're doing, you're going to roughly need about a cup of water. Everything it calls for, regardless of what you're doing or what's happening or what you're cooking, it all calls for a cup of water. So, and it can be plain tap water, filtered water, whatever you like, just roughly about a cup of water in there. Now once you get your cup in there, it's simple, boom. And do this with yours. Do it with yours. Become familiar with your pressure cooker. Love your pressure cooker. It's gonna be your best friend, trust me. It is mine now. Shh, just don't tell my wife. All right, so we're gonna close this up. Now on the back here, I'm gonna turn this around so you can see it. There's this free floating weight, right? Now on the back of the weight, I'm just gonna turn this thing on high. So for mine, it's like a chicken and meat setting. I'm gonna click it, and you'll see right here. See, it shows numbers. And then if I click it again, so you guys can see this here, hold on. So if I hit the number again, and you see it's 15, if I click it in, 40 a minute, every one works differently. Just familiarize yourself with yours. Okay, I'm gonna let these numbers turn for a little bit. And as that's happening, I mean, you can see each one's a little different. Fish and vegetables, you got beans and lentils. Each one is different, preserving. So now my pressure cooker is starting to come up to full steam. Now I'm going to get up close here so you guys can see. And you might be able to see a little bit of steam starting to boil out the top there. That's alright, that's starting to hit pressure. And you'll see the little red dot there pop up here in a second. Now you can really see it coming. There it went. Now, if you're listening carefully, you're going to hear sounds. You might hear some leaking sounds. You might hear a little bit of water. It might just start making little blurps. Don't worry. It's okay. It's normal. It's natural. It's going to happen. So, I'm going to turn this off. So I'm just going to hit my cancel setting, and that cancels it out. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to open up my valve. So when you release pressure, this is what you do. You turn it until it hits the thing. Done. Now the locking mechanism has released, and now I can come over, turn, and open my pressure cooker. Hey, I hope this video has been very helpful for you and make you feel a little more comfortable about how to use your pressure cooker properly. Like I've said many times, it all depends on what brand you buy. Each one is a little bit different in the settings, but taking just a little time to familiarize yourself with what each setting is and maybe reading through the manual if you have to. And the fact that there's these safety features that are built into these nowadays to prevent the explosion things. Trust me, you can find tons of YouTube videos online about nasty habits. Also for cleaning purposes on some of these, you can check the instructions. A lot of these are dishwasher safe. That's one of the great things. The plate that's in here, it will get stuff on it periodically. You'll have to just pull it off, scrub it with some soap and water. Same thing with inside your pot, the grates and things you use. You're just going to have to clean them like everything else. So that wouldn't take too long or be too difficult to do. And I hope you've really enjoyed it. And the first thing that you should always try to cook with your pressure cooker, just to see how, that is hot. Holy cow, I made a boo-boo. To see how great your pressure cooker really is, cook rice. A ratio of 1 cup of rice, 2 cups water. 2 cups rice, 4 cups water. Same principle. Now, I'm also going to let you know, go a little less on the water. So go like 1 3/4 cups, because it doesn't ever release the water. It's not going to evaporate out. It keeps it in. And that's the other cool thing about these recipes, is that because the fact the water doesn't evaporate, you don't have to worry about not having enough. Because even if you put too much, it's okay. It's not going to really go anywhere. It's not going to evaporate. It's not going to cause anything to go dry. So, if you like this video and you want to see more, please like and subscribe at the bottom, right below. And I look forward to posting more videos. I have some upcoming things to definitely share, and I look forward to sharing more with you in the basket.